This tale is based on a true story about a teacher called Jane who loved her job as she made a difference in children's lives. But this year, she had a troublemaker called Anne. Anne was either rude or ignored everyone around her. The other teachers in the school found Anne too much and wanted to expel her. But Jane disagreed because she liked Anne and was determined to help her improve her behaviour. Telling her off all the time wasn't helping, so Jane decided to sit her down after class to understand why she behaved in such a way. But that didn't work. Jane went home feeling demoralised. She didn't want to give up on Anne. Her instincts told her there must be another way, but all the traditional methods had failed. Then, as she was brushing her teeth, she had a brilliant idea. If Jane could imagine Anne how she'd like her to be, and stick with that image until it manifests in the physical world, then it could work, as long as she ignored any contrasting behaviour. But as Jane was falling asleep that night, she imagined saying, "Morning, Anne," and Anne would reply, "Good morning, Miss Smith." Then she replayed the scene again and again until the image had saturated her mind. The following morning, Jane was eager to get to school to try out her exercise, so at 8:45, Jane stood at the school steps and greeted the pupils entering the building. Then Anne arrived. "Morning, Anne," Jane said in a friendly manner. Anne grunted, turned her head away from Jane and stomped inside. Instead of feeling discouraged, Jane spent the rest of the day only mentally thinking about the revised version of Anne, with thoughts like, "What a nice child, she's so pleasant to be around." And at night, she repeated imagining her ideal scene. Over the next few days, Jane saw no improvement, but she stayed faithful and ignored any contrasting behaviour. Then, on the 4th day, Anne finally looked up and replied, "Morning," and she did it again the next day with a smile. And by the following week, Anne was replying to Jane exactly how she had imagined in her imagination. Not only this, Anne's behaviour had radically changed so much throughout the day, she was engaged in her lessons and looked happier. And Anne's dramatic change didn't go unnoticed by the other teachers, as they were amazed by her transformation. So, how does this story relate to you? When you see something you don't like in another person, like their behaviour, you try to change the other person by taking physical action, like talking to them, but this is ineffective and exhausting. The people around you are all connected to you and reflect who you are. They reflect the assumptions and beliefs you have about yourself and them. So when you focus on things you don't like poor behaviour, you attract more of them into your life. So in this scenario, the behaviour deteriorates. Third, change who you are. When you think about the other person, you do this by imagining and mentally thinking that they are already the person you like them to be, whilst ignoring any contrasting behaviours until it becomes an assumption. Then, the other person will reflect this change. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again.